Good morning, beautiful people. Well, today I want to share with you a story that I'm not sure yet if it will be on the book, but it's about a topic that for sure it will come up because it's so powerful and so visible in our lives that I cannot resist. So I will start by sharing you a story, and then I'll also tell you what I think are the learnings I take from it. So that's been already quite some time, maybe more than 20 years ago. Getting old here. I was on a very long walk on a trail with a friend, and we've been on that trail already maybe for 3 weeks, so quite some time. And before we start climbing a pretty good sized mountain, I remember it was a very hot day. Phew. And we thought about maybe stopping and maybe avoid the heat, but then we thought, no, I think we can do it if we focus. And off we went to cross that mountain. And when we start, we actually tried to go on a good pace, to try to go as fast as possible. I saw a small group, 4 people, not far from us, and they were from a distance ahead of us, and I could hear them singing. And obviously my curiosity was the fact that I could not understand the language. The language sounded pretty funny to me, and I was very curious. And as soon as we got closer to them, actually we understood that they were very close to each other, and between them, so each one using one arm, they were carrying a pretty big stone. I mean, it was impressive. I have no idea how many kilos, but plenty of them. And the song they were singing was very deep, I would say. Probably I would even consider to be a sad song. They were slow and very concentrated. So actually when we passed by, they nod their heads and they continue. So they were very focused on what they were doing, and out of respect, obviously, me and my friend, we passed by, and we didn't even interrupt or made any questions, and we continued because actually we were with a much faster pace than this small group. And the day went on, very hot. We reached the mountain, which for some people that have done or know about the Camino de Santiago in Spain, probably you have heard of this little mountain that on the very top, there is another little mountain of stones. I mean, millions of stones, small, medium size, big ones. And I mean, you have many stories about it. The point is that when people get to the top, usually you drop something there. Maybe because you have been carrying it with you for some time, maybe because it's kind of a burden and you want to drop it. There are many reasons, but I would say that in my case, I knew about it before. I thought about people that were dear to me, and I want to carry them in my backpack. And then on the top, I thought about them, and I left those stones there. Stones are something very visible, because either if they are small, they always weigh something, and they don't go unnoticed, which is, I would say, an interesting and powerful metaphor. So once we got to this mountain top, we took some pictures, we spent some time there. We went for the place we would spend the night. So we slept for a while before we had showers. We had food. I mean, we spent quite some time. And then when we returned to this mountain, because we just wanted to see, people coming and arriving there, it was quite impressive, quite special. We saw, probably after more than 2 hours, maybe 3, this group of 4 guys, young guys, arriving at the mountain top with the stone. I mean, stone was really impressive. So it took them almost 3 more hours than us to get there. Incredible. And once they arrived, they continue exactly the same way we saw them before. They were singing very softly. They went to the top of this mount of rocks, and they dropped the stone there. They wait for a while. They were all together, actually. They hug each other, and then they continue. Obviously, I couldn't resist at that time, so I jumped off from my seat. I went there and said, guys, I apologize to interrupt. I saw you back there in the bottom of the climb, and you have to tell me, please, first of all, where you're from, because your language is pretty strange to me. And I learned they were from Hungary, which makes sense because it's a language family that it's pretty far from everybody else. It's a great language, great country. And then I asked them, look, what are you doing with this, I don't know how many kilo stone? And one interrupted and said, well, to be more precise, I think he mentioned something like 70 or 75 kilos. So can you imagine to carry 75 kilos up a mountain on a hot day? And one of them explained me that actually that stone and that weight was chosen precisely to represent their best friend that passed away, had a dream of doing this walk with them, and since the friend could not accomplish that dream, they decided to take a big stone with them with more or less the same weight, representing the friend. And what I found even more incredible is that actually they were not carrying this stone just to go up this mountain. They were carrying this stone for a very long time, for many days. So they made the friend really present and visible, not only in their minds, but above all as a physical experience. That story really humbled me, because it made me think, and believe it or not, after 20 years I'm still sharing and thinking about the story. I mean, what do we learn from it? We know that in the end of the day, whatever you decide to do, you always need to carry, your own weight. That we know. But we also know that what we decide to put inside our backpack in life, on a walk, then we have to carry it. And it's quite fast to understand when it's too much. I collected many stories of extra coats that were left behind after the first day, hair dryers, too many energy bars. I mean, I've seen many things being left behind, because you start, but after a little while you immediately understand it's too much for me, so I need to leave it behind. But at the same time, you also understand when you're missing something and you have space, that you can put more, that you can take more with you, not necessarily just to take it, but because you need it. And then there is this dimension, the one I mentioned, that I think it's absolutely extraordinary, which is you have your own weight to carry, which already present so many challenges. And then you have the generosity actually to carry someone else with you, especially someone that cannot do what you are doing. And here again, it's incredible the number of stories that fortunately we've been collecting over the years. So one final thought maybe about checking your backpack. This is something that usually we do quite often, and I think that everyone should do it once in a while. Check your backpack, check what you have inside. If it's too heavy, you probably need to drop some things, and if you miss something, it's a good time to put it in. But you know better than anyone else what you can take and what you should drop. But this is an exercise that it's probably only possible to do by each person, and do it regularly, because you know, some days, some moments in our life we are in need and we are able to take certain weight, and some moments not, because the needs are different. And we'll see if the story goes on the book. It's a good story, it's an incredible story about these friends carrying their friend. So this is a weekly advice which maybe triggers some exercise from your side as well. So till then, keep walking with me.